friends, today let's grab our ball or rolled up towel, something that you can hold with your legs. That's going to be a little bit flexible and a little squishy, so it can be a rolled up bath towel or something, and maybe a blanket or again another towel or something for your knees. You'll probably like a little cushion here and there today, so go ahead and grab those items if you've got them. If you don't, it's okay, we can still work without them. It's just going to be a little bit nicer to have a couple of items there. So we're going to start just in a tabletop position today. So you're going to move into that hands and knees. So hands directly underneath the shoulders and knees about hip distance apart. Try to anchor the tops of your feet. So if you do have a blanket or something here, you want to back it up just a little bit or move forward enough that you can press down through the tops of the feet. If it feels better or you like to stretch the toes, you could do this. But when I turn my toes under, it actually puts a little more pressure on my knees. So I like to try to flatten that out and push weight all the way to the tops of the feet. Okay, so spreading the fingers wide and making sure that the elbows are not locked out. So you want a little softness in the elbow creases pointing more inward than to the front. So as you drop the belly down, release your spine in between the shoulder blades, and then exhale, start to scoop the belly in and up and rounding up without shrugging your shoulders. So we'll do that just a few more times. Try to anchor at the tops of your feet. Inhale, let everything sink down, and then exhale, just push straight up and hollow out into that big cat stretch. Starting to find the connection with your breath. Inhale and exhale. So inhale here, try to just release all the way down between your shoulder blades like you're kind of sinking down. And then exhale, hollow out, round out, and scoop. Take one more here. Inhale and exhale. Back into center. So we're going to come down onto the elbows. You could also place elbows on blocks or something that's kind of stacked up if you prefer. I'm going to take the ball and place it behind the left leg. Okay. So lowering down onto the mat, elbows in line with your shoulders rather than letting them move out to the side. So just stacking them right underneath the shoulders. You can interlace your fingers or just make little fists here. I'm going to pull the belly up and in, but also pull the rib cage in. So making sure that you're not just scooping your belly, but allowing your ribs to fall. So a rib cage pulls up and you've got that nice long line from your shoulders to your hips. And start to lift that left leg up. And we'll just reach up to the sky and then bring it back down. Okay. So exhale. You're going to gaze just between your arms or your forearms here, keeping your neck long, so that you're not kicking your chin up. Okay. Inhale, exhale, lift. So on that exhale, when you lift, really think about keeping that alignment through your torso. So keeping the rib cage drawn in. You'll notice your glutes will fire off more that way rather than tipping the pelvis back and forth. Okay. Exhale, take it up. Good. Inhale. Try to push into your forearms a little bit more as well to push up into that space between your shoulder blades so that you're not sinking down in the shoulder girdle. Last 4. Good. Staying nice and controlled. 3. Just squeezing that towel or block behind the leg. 2. And then 1 more. We're going to hold this one here, push up in between your shoulder blades. I just want you to hold it so you're getting an isometric hold for a moment. Really scoop up, make sure everything is set, and then little pulses up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back down, and then just release that ball. Take a moment to rest, press back, let the head drop. You could even release your arms, your shoulders by taking hands back into a full child's pose. Take a couple of big rounds of breath here. And then when you're ready, we're coming back up and we're moving on to the opposite side. So lowering down, elbows to the mat. We're going to take the ball, placing it behind the right leg. So just give it a little squeeze there, flex the foot, toes pull back towards your knee. Okay, inhale, and then exhale, press it up and lower down. So continuing to keep that long line from your shoulders to your hips without allowing a dip in the middle. So I want you to continue just to keep neutral alignment. Belly scoops in, ribs pull in. Your gaze is just between your forearms or wrist, nose toward the floor. Exhale, shoulders pulling back. Exhale, push just to about hip height, like you're gonna stomp your heel on the ceiling. Keeping that foot very active. Find your breath. We'll take 4 more here, nice and slow and controlled. Making sure that your pelvis is not rocking as you lift and lower the leg. The last 2. And last 1, holding right here. So continue to hold isometric, so meaning there's no movement. We're not releasing, we're just holding, contracting. Pull the belly in and up, really engage that core, shoulders back. Now little pulses right from your glute to your heel. Go up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it down. All right, separate the knees, sit back, stretch it out, and rest. So coming back up. So I want you to go ahead and just take, if you have a blanket or something under the knees, just move that off to the side for a moment so that it won't make your hips a little, we don't want the hips to be off center or off level. As we come down to the mat, all the way onto the belly. Okay, so starting here, we're just gonna keep the ball off to the side for now, just so that you can reach it in a moment. Okay, so hands just right underneath the shoulders. So go ahead and move your fingertips back until they're about in line with the top of your shoulder, if your shoulder mobility allows for you to bring it back that far. Okay, otherwise just go to where you can, but if you can kind of pin those elbows back, I want you to do so. Okay, shoulders back and down. We're going to drop the pubic bone into the mat, tops of the feet anchored, your quadriceps, so the top of your legs are going to engage, and that's going to lift your knees just a little as you push down on the tops of your feet and into your pubic bone. Okay, squeezing your elbows in. Inhale, coming up for little cobra. That's all we're doing, just driving those elbows back, shoulders pulling back, and keeping your lower body engaged and lower back down. Now when you lift up, I want you to keep your chin level. So wherever your center of your sternum is facing, that's the space that you're looking at. So this is kind of a nice guide there, pretty much a good rule of thumb. All right, so I want you to drop your pubic bone. Go ahead and engage your glutes, engage your quads, tops of feet active onto the floor. Inhale, squeeze the elbows in. Don't overpower, just lift. Your gaze is where your heart is shining. Okay, so if you had a little beam of light coming out of your chest, that's where your gaze is. Okay, and then lower it back down. So we're just moving through a few slow cobras, getting the extensor muscles engaged. Inhale, pull those shoulders back, squeeze the elbows, engage lower body, and lift. We're never trying to overpower, just come up to the level that you can with all of those cues. It's a lot to think about. We're gonna go 3 more together. Inhale, lift up, squeeze elbows in, tail long, lower down, tops of your feet active. Try to spread the toes wide. 2 more. Lift up. And then 1 more here. Once again, keep the back of your neck long, meaning you're just keeping your chin down level. Inhale. And exhale, bring it down. Go ahead and release your hands. If you had any pressure in your wrists, I want you to just kind of wiggle them around, make some little circles, bend the knees, take the feet side to side. So from here, go ahead and you can take that ball again. Just gonna place the ball in front and resting the forehead right on the edge of it. So maybe that's a rolled up towel instead of a ball. If your ball is a little bit bigger or not as squishy as mine, you might just stack your hands instead. Okay, so I'm going to just take the ball and kind of rest the center of my forehead right in it, and it's going to take this nice little indent and keep the head neutral. Okay, so that just my nose is floating off of the mat. Okay, so you can hold it with your hands or hands down by your sides so that you're in little cactus arms here, shoulders drawn back and down. So I want you to just slowly lift both legs up and then lower them back down. Shoulders are staying down, relaxed in the upper body. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lower. So your lower body still has all the same engagement points that I had you cued in your cobra, but we're floating the feet. Okay, so you're still acting as though you're kind of pushing down to the tops of your feet, but then they lift. So you're lifting all the way from your glute to your toes, not just trying to bend your knees, lifting your feet away from the floor. Okay, so we're going to continue here. 3 more. Bring it up, shoulders back and relaxed. And 2. Focus with your breath. Let your body know that you're about to do something. So take that breath in. That sends information to the muscles. Exhale in. Go ahead and move. And bring it down. So I want you to rest here. You can move the ball or object you might have in front of you. Rest your head to one side. Bend the knees. And we'll go side to side again. So once you've done a few sways with your feet, I'm going to bring it back down. Okay, now just your upper body will work with. So I want you to, again, stack your head on maybe something like a block might be a little too hard and a little too high, but a rolled up towel or a squishy ball here. So I'm going to rest just the forehead there. I want to make sure that whatever my head is on, that it's not going to kick the chin up and kind of cock the head back. I want it to be down and long through the neck. Okay. So staying here, we're going to take elbows out to the side. Anchor the tops of your feet again. Anchor the pubic bone. Rock your shoulders back and down, elbows in line with your shoulders, and we're just going to lift them up, squeeze back just a tiny bit, and just squeeze up in the middle of your back, and then bring it back down. So take a breath in to prepare. Exhale, rock the shoulders back and down, lower body still engaged for your anchor, and then lift. And bring it back down. So I want you to really activate that space in between your shoulder blades. So as you lift, just imagine that you were trying to kind of lift the back of your arm up to the sky and press it toward the ceiling. And bring it back down. You're just squeezing right in between the shoulder blades in the middle of your back rather than the upper back. Okay, so I want you to really pull the shoulders down, squeeze, press through your pubic bone and your hips. And bring it down. 3 more. Lift. And bring it down. Inhale. Be mindful that you don't forget about your lower body because that allows your tail to kick up and you'll start to feel this little dip in your low back and maybe a little bit of discomfort. So I want you to lengthen it out. Engage even here as though you were trying to pull your rib cage away from the floor. Okay, that's going to help you to engage your core muscles. Bring it down and rest. Now here, rest your head to the opposite side and let your arms drop back by your sides. You could always take that opportunity to wiggle out through the ankles and sway again. We're going to take it up 1 more notch and bring the legs back down. All right. Elbows out to the sides again. I'm just going to leave the ball here. Now, if you choose, let's try this. Our first round, we're going to take this ball or rolled up towel again, resting your head on it. So we're going to take the lower and upper body together. I want you to take the arms out to the sides, shoulders back and down. We're going to engage by pushing down through the pubic bone. Continue to feel like you're trying to pull your rib cage right here instead of letting it really push down into the mat. That's another way of splaying open your ribs, but you're supported. I want you to pull up
in through that rib cage again. Lighten your load to the mat. All right, so now we've got the transverse abdominals engaged, those girdle muscles, and we're going to start to work. So you're going to take a breath in to prepare. Exhale, floating your legs and your arms. Give it a little squeeze in the middle of your back, and then bring it down. Now, I don't want you to let that go right to your low back, so I want you to make sure you're stabilizing through your core, and then lift. So our core is called that for a reason. It's the center, it's the core, it's the beginning of your existence. It starts with your little tail like a tadpole, and then you grow outward from there. So it really is the center of our being, okay? So I want you to make sure that it's strong and it supports you. So the entire purpose of your core here is for support. So lift. As we move these limbs, these extremities, we're adding load to the core. 3 more. I want you to recalibrate each time. If you feel like you're getting off course, reset and then lift. 2. And last 1. Make sure you've reset yourself and lift. Make it your best one. And bring it down. All right. Set that ball off to the side or somewhere out of your way for a moment. Hands underneath the shoulders. Go ahead and wiggle out through your ankles. We'll lift all the way up and then start to slowly move the hips over the knees, but let's pause right there. And now just taking a sway. I want you to counter those back bends. So prone back bends. I want you to counter those with a little mobility through the spine, a little twist. Okay, just nice gentle twist side to side. So then we'll move into the complete opposite of our back bends, into a forward bend. So child's pose is a forward bend. So I want you to drop back and now give it that really wonderful stretch in your low back and release. So as we come back, pause. Walking it back out. We're going to come back down onto the elbows this time though. So if you would like to take a blanket under your knees again, go ahead and do so. This time we won't use the ball right away. So we can leave it. So we're coming back down to the elbows here underneath the shoulders. Scooping your belly in, engaging, getting that ribs pulled in. And we'll take the left leg back once more. So once you find that position, really pull up and make sure you've got your upper body set, that you're not straining through your shoulders. The hips are going to maintain that square position, meaning we're not going to open up on that left side. So everything is level here. Okay. Inhale, and just lift and lower with the leg. Inhale, exhale, lift, and lower down. So I just want you to take that breath every time the leg comes back down, and exhale, lift. Inhale. Still pulling up and in, ribs drawn in, belly drawn in, core strong. Inhale, exhale, lift. So we'll go for about another set or round of about 10 lifts. Okay, so just find your breath. 8 more. I want you to make sure that you're not leaning into that right side. Try to keep yourself really level and even, maybe even placing a tiny bit more weight to your left arm. Very nice. We'll take 3 more. You might have got a bonus. 2. And you're gonna hold this one up. Now cross it back without moving the rest of your body. Just tap and come up. Move it back and come up. I'm going to give you a different view because I want you to notice that we're not shifting the hips. Okay, I'm just tapping and lifting. That's it. Okay, tap and lift. Okay, back to that start point. Okay, so let's go for 4 more here. Tap, bring it up. 3, 2, and 1. Gotta get that tap in. There we go. Hold it here. Now, Super fun move. We're going to take the left hand onto the floor. So left leg is lifted, left hand is on the floor. I want you to bring that left leg around so that it's even from your hip. And we're going to pull the belly in, and you're going to lean slightly into your right side. Okay. I want you to lift and lower. If that lever is too long for you to lift off the floor, give it a bend and just do like a little fire hydrant lift. Okay. So you can shorten your lever, which shortens your load. Okay. Otherwise, take the leg out and see if you can lift the whole leg up. I know it's a lot. Okay, come on. 4 more. Exhale. 3, 2, very nice. And last 1. And go ahead and bring it back down. We're going to slide it back. Now rotating onto your right side. Just going to rotate into a side plank. Okay? So if you need to come down, readjust yourself. Drive the shoulder back. We'll lift the hip up. And then make sure that your shoulder here is away from your ear and you're not sinking down into it. Okay? So make sure that you're nice and long here rather than this type of a position. Okay? I want you to bring it out like a long diagonal line. Okay? Shoulders back. You're going to take your top arm, reach over the head, grab your Christmas ornaments that need to come down. Okay, so come over, inhale, and then exhale, bend the knee and meet elbow to knee. Okay, inhale, exhale. If you're finding this extremely challenging today, go ahead and drop that hip down and continue to move. Maybe you can pop it back up on the crunch and then drop it down. Another great move for both of your side waists, bottom and top. Okay. Last 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Beautiful work. All right, bring it back around. Go ahead and sit back. Find a child's pose. Rest for a moment. You could even come up if you feel like you need just a little upright time and reach back and open the chest since we've done a lot of forward-facing movements. Okay, so open up if you like. Just take what you need to get you to the next round, okay? We're coming back down, elbows to the mat, doing that other side now. So we're gonna send the right leg back, rotate that inner thigh on the back leg. So you'll notice, hopefully you can see, okay, on your device here, whatever you've got on your screen. So notice that if I kind of rotate my knee on my right leg out, it lifts the right hip up, right? So I want to even that out and try to drive energy all the way down to that pinky toe as well. Okay, then lift up in through the core. Engage like you're going to push yourself away from the mat a little bit with your arms, engaging the serratus anterior muscle underneath your arm. Okay, so push. And then I want you to lift it up. Now that everything's set, just lift and lower the leg. Inhale, exhale, lift. I'm going to keep that foot mostly flexed. So toes are down. Inhale, very slow and controlled. Once again, if it bothers your shoulders here, I want you to readjust. You could come up to your hands if you like, or stack your elbows on something. Or you can even make a little tower of fist with your hands and just rest your forehead there, or find your ball or block to rest your head on. Deep breath. Second round, second set. So last 10 moves here. I want you to reset your hips. Draw your rib cage in. Breathing. Very nice. Check back in with your shoulders. Lots of things are happening here. Last 3 and 2. Take that last 1, hold it, and then just cross back, tap, and bring it back to center. Cross it back without shifting your weight. Okay. Just in your inner thighs, you're adducting, meaning you're bringing that inner thigh in. Okay, so you're moving your leg across the midline. Adducting. Let's continue. Shoulders back. Deep breath. Last 3, 2, and 1. Now I want you to hold this one up. Here's where we're going to bring that right hand to the floor. And you're going to stay on your left elbow. I'm going to swing it around just to make it easier to see. Okay, a little break dancing happening. Okay, we're bringing that right leg over, okay, out from the hip. Once again, bend the knee as much as needed. Okay, I'm up on the fingertips on the right hand, and I'm pulling back the right side waist. Okay, so lifting and lowering, you can keep the knee bent. You could stack a block under your hand or maybe make a fist if it feels better. Okay, I'm going to straighten out that leg, see if you can lift that whole load without tipping back. So here's what's happening. I'm going to try not to do this. I'm not trying to move the hips. I'm just trying to lift the leg. That's why that knee might need to be bent. Adjust your side waist so that you're not dipping down. Okay. Try to keep your girdle engaged. Lift up. Very nice. Let's try last 4 coming up right here. Okay, 4. Breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Bring it back. Now readjust yourself so that your left elbow is still on the floor, but you're going to move that knee back and rotate over to the side. So you might just come all the way down to get there. Okay, just go to what feels right for you to get yourself into place. So inhale, reach the arm overhead. Exhale, and bring those 2 together. But once again, we're going to try to do that without dropping the hips way down. So if you like to drop your hips in between and then come up, it's another way to work both side waist. Nice and slow. Inhale, exhale, give it a crunch. You can always look slightly down. This may help with your neck. One last 4. And 3, 2, and last 1. Awesome work. Drop it down. All right, come on up. Let's give it a little center for a moment. Just find some space that feels good for you. Take the head side to side. Just gonna kind of get that nice and loosened up if you had any tension you were holding in the neck. A few shoulder circles. We can sweep the arms back, big circles opening. And then we're gonna roll all the way back, grabbing your ball again. So you can move the blanket or anything you might be sitting on off to the side. We're gonna take the ball, placing it between the inner thighs to start. So we're rolling all the way back. I want you to squeeze the ball. So maybe not quite at your knees, but let's bring it down so that it's going to be kind of right in between the inner thigh space. Not all the way to your knees. So arms are down by your sides, shoulders back and down. Feet are pulled up, not so close that you're over compressing your knee joints, but just kind of walk them away from your sits bones, just enough that the feet are going to be parallel, the toes toward the end of your mat. Okay, shoulders back and down, and when you lift, your knees will not go past your heel line. Okay, so bring it back down. So I want you to squeeze the ball. Make sure that your knees aren't just kind of knocking together, so adjust your feet accordingly. They might need to be a little more narrow. We're going to bring it up and then lower it back down. Inhale, lifting. Exhale down. Continue to squeeze the ball or rolled up towel, whatever you may have here. Lift and lower. Now, so I want you to make sure that you're engaging through the front body, even here. So you're still pulling ribs down a little bit and then lifting up and lowering down your entire center. Okay, so lift up, exhale down. Four more, just like this. 3. Last 2. And last one. Now hold it here. I want you to shift your weight into your right foot. Start to lift your left foot. Take that ball, place it behind the leg. Now lifting and lowering just the left leg up and down. Inhale. It's just similar to what you did when you were in tabletop at the very beginning, but now we're reversed. So we're just lying here supine, keeping the right foot engaged to the mat. Feel like you're kind of pulling your heel towards your glute. We'll continue for 4 more. 3, scoop the belly. 2, ribs down, but you're still floating your hips, and hold it. Hold that leg up. Now lift and lower little ones up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch sides. Take that left leg down. Lift your right leg up. Place your item behind that leg. Inhale. Lift and lower just the leg up and down for 8, 7. You're still breathing. I want you to find that connection between your ribs and your hips. We're not turning around the back, but we're engaging deep into the core line. Keeping everything solid, holding you in place. Let's take 2 more. Last one and hold it. Up and down, little ones, up and down. 8, 7, pushing in your left foot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest it down. Very good. Send that ball off to the side for just a moment. Stretch out, full body. Wiggle through the wrists and the ankles. We can take that ball to find a little bit of relaxed support. So we can take that space again like you were in bridge. And we're going to lift the hips up and slide the ball just underneath the sacrum. So just in that little triangle flat spot that is at the very top of your buttocks. Okay, so right there, we can just wiggle it around. This is just a little supported bridge. And if you feel like straightening out one or both legs, this may help you to open up the front body a little more, especially the hip flexors. Arms could go overhead, depending on how it feels for you. And slowly bring the feet back to the mat. Go ahead and release your arms down by your side, lifting your hips, moving your item out from under you, lowering back down to the mat. And just bring the arms out to the sides. Let the knees fall over to the left. Reach the right arm up and stretch that right side. And back to center, arm comes down, over to the right. Left arm sweeps up and get a long stretch on the left side. And then coming back to center, rotating all the way over to one side. Use your top hand. Gently press yourself up. Let your head come up last. Doesn't need to swing up there. We come back to seated. Once you've arrived back here at seated, just let your head drop side to side a couple times. And we'll sweep both arms up, big sweep up, over to one side, and then to the other. And back to center. Go ahead and drop your hands down and walk forward, stretching through the hips and the back. Rounding as much as you like with the knees open. And then coming back up. I want you to bring your hands just to heart. Give yourself a little bow as an acknowledgement for showing up and being here for you today. I thank you as well for showing up and being here with me. Thanks for showing up, and I'll see you soon.